What's your biggest pet peeve in business?
People who don't constantly innovate. I think in business, because like when I started being an entrepreneur, it was 03. Before Get Rich or Die Trying came out, Wankster was like playing. I had 50 Cent as the future. I think people take this business climate for granted. I love the success that we're having as a culture. I love that Black women are leading the charge in entrepreneurship, but businesses are going to fucking die from not innovating. So my thing is like when you're not constantly pushing that's what I love about Blackout. They never saw this coming. They thought the next thing was going to be trading or the international business show or textile. No, let's get to the messy shit and show you we can do that too. Now, once we figure out the arbitrage on that, because we got the media part down, Adam, we ain't gonna do what you doing, right? Bong bong. Now we got this, and now we can navigate different lanes. I think people need to find ways to constantly innovate, or you're going to go out of business. And I know 2020 made it easy, but when you got it to a point where people are like willing to kill over a bad business review, goofy as fuck. It's crazy. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I think people need to innovate at a higher clip because the world is changing. I don't think we're remembering. We're 1 year away from being a quarter into a new century. 2025 to 2035 is going to look dramatically different.
Facts.
Going to look dramatically different. So that's my biggest pet peeve is when people don't innovate fast enough. What about you?
Treason is
knew it. Go ahead.
Treason is a crime that
worse than death
is punishable by death. So treason, and this happens real time. Like I remember we did a story on Wetbo. It was Google's flying car, self-driving car, or one of these. Google had taken Uber's scientists, or maybe vice versa, but they pretty much gave them the blueprints, opened up the books, gave them all information and everything. This goes back to Benedict Arnold. There's always a traitor.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't, it's one thing not to trust somebody, right? But it's a different level of just nastiness when somebody actually crosses enemy lines. Like when you cross enemy lines, like I said, Benedict Arnold, right? Like when you cross enemy lines and you go into the world of treason, you not only have disappointed your comrades in arms that you actually fought with, but you disappointed yourself. Like I could have never imagined, even if I hated like the person, right? I could never go across enemy lines. And give them secrets and talk and provide information and open up the playbook and like
hurt feelings. Okay, then let me give the devil's advocate. Can a leader do something that would make a person be treasonous?
I just could speak for myself, right? I could
your own integrity.
I could never commit treason. I could, if I have a falling out with somebody, I might go off on them. I might fight them. Like me and that person might have real issues. Right. And that we might have some real issues that we have to resolve on a certain level. But for me to know, because what treason is that it's not like you're friends with the other side, right? They were your opposition because you were on this side, right? It's like America and Russia. Like Russia is America's opposition, right? And it's like now you have a falling out with generals, and you find a way to go to Moscow, and you become an informant. You become an informant and a mule. Because they're never going to respect you. That's the thing about being a treasonist, whatever you would call it. That it's like kind of being a snitch almost in a sense where the person that you're going back telling secrets to, they don't really respect you because they're looking at you like, damn, bro, like
I can't trust you.
Exactly. And then you've disappointed your comrades. So now you're kind of in. It's like a man of no country, right? Like you really have no country at this point in time. You've betrayed the trust of your comrades. You have no honor amongst the people that you ran to. So when you look yourself in the mirror, I just wonder, like, what would you see? Would you see a man? Would you see a scoundrel, a rat, maybe.
Some people just get hurt and want revenge, man. It happened with Putin and Prigozhin. They was best of buddies, and then Prigozhin got on that plane. That shit got shot right out the sky.
But that also goes back to not having father figures, right? And not knowing how to properly deal with your emotions, and being surrounded with that's an emotional response. I want revenge, and I don't know how to deal with this properly. Let me just do this. Let me do some wild shit, right? Like that's
it happens.
That's not how we deal with things as men. Not how we deal with things as men, right?
Yeah.
This goes back to, you gotta take care of your children, man. Like you gotta really be in your child's life, because if you're not in your child's life, there's so many things.
It has reverberating effects,
and you don't gotta be like the best teacher, but a child's gonna pick up things just by being around you, right?
Yeah, being present.
You don't even gotta say a lot to them. They'll just look at your behavior and they'll mimic your behavior.
Mm-hmm.
They'll mimic your behavior. Like I said, like even that conversation that my dad had with somebody else's dad, and that was like 25 years ago, but I still remember that. That wasn't something that he was telling me, but I was just observant enough to hear that conversation, and I remembered the conversation. And now I have my own son, and I'm seeing what he said, and I'm like, damn, that's actually really true. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, this parenting thing, we talk about this a lot, but it's real, because it's like,
it's important.
You don't understand the effects. You're not just hurting your child when you decide to be a deadbeat. You're actually hurting society, and as a result, you're hurting me, right? Because I got to deal with this shit, right? So it's like you're. I'm just saying, like your mess. It's a domino effect. It's a ripple effect, right? Your mess.
It is, yeah. The community,
you're polluting the whole entire atmosphere, and then the women got to deal with this, because they got to and it goes vice versa, right? Like even women that don't have fathers in their life, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a whole ecosystem that gets affected by this. So be mindful, because it's like your decisions are bigger than just you. They're bigger than just your child. They actually have a ripple effect on society. And this is what we're seeing in 2024 with all of this behavior is the destruction of family, right? And it's the destruction of masculine intelligence. I like to say masculine intelligence, because a lot of times people say like masculine energy, and it's like masculine energy is like just bench pressing 400 pounds or beating somebody up. What is masculine intelligence, right? Masculine intelligence is like, okay, like you have the intelligence of a man, right? Like I could resort to violence, but that's the weakest form of conflict resolution. The easiest and weakest form of conflict resolution is physical violence, right? Like that's something that anybody can do. Like it takes an intelligent person to diffuse a situation, or to remove a situation, or to maneuver people in the right point without having to lay a hand on somebody, without having to physically assault somebody, without having to verbally, abuse somebody, right? Like, so what does masculine intelligence look like in 2024, especially for Black people? That's something that we got to really think about, right? As far as like, pushing intelligence, pushing a new agenda of, having understanding, and not just looking at things from a very barbaric level.
Yeah, I hope we can get some resolution. But the way it's looking on Justin LeBoy and Shade Room page, I don't know. Also, we got to blame the media at some point for this. I know no one's ever going to have a change, or no laws are going to be passed, but I think certain conversations or certain kind of responses should be automatically blocked. But media is going to be media, so that they don't care about the community as much as they would say. I do have a last question for you. How do you deal with hate, and what are some things we can do to? Because I think the other side of it is we don't talk about what the things that we can do to cause the hate to come to us. Like I know I'll be obnoxious to the motherfucker sometimes. Like when I get my little war bag, oh baby.
Now you got to be self-aware.
Yep.
Right? And hate, and this goes back to having emotional intelligence. Hate is confused admiration, but it's also hate usually has some simmer of truth to it. It's an embellishment of something that's usually somehow true, somehow, for the most part.
Gotcha.
So it's like, even for me, right? Like, I'm like, okay, if you notice, I haven't done a drip report in months, because I realized it was causing too much negative attention, and it was stirring the pot, and it was leading unnecessary conversations, right?
Gotcha.
So I said, okay, I am into fashion. Everybody knows that, but maybe it's not the best idea to fully document my outfits. Right. It's just a time, and it might be not
Time and place.
might
Yeah.
not be the best time. So I said, okay, I'll take the criticism. I'll take it. And I haven't done that, in a while, right? Because I understand that you can't give opposition fuel.
Absolutely.
Can't give opposition fuel. And it was like, no, I spoke to other people, and they was like, nah, fuck that. Like, keep doing it. Da, da, da. I'm just like, I could take that approach, but that would be more of a pride and ego thing of me just kind
Return's
of.
not worth it.
And it's like, at the end of the day, it's not even worth it. It's really not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have to compromise certain things for the greater good of the ecosystem, right? So it's like that is one particular thing where I feel like look at the hate, right? Take yourself out of it, look at it, and see how you can kind
Be
of
better from it.
pivot in. Yeah. Because every hater is admiring from afar, right? But sometimes it's like you are providing pain for them based off of what you have and what they don't have, right? And it's painful. So even have a certain level of humility to understand that, where it's like there's people struggling, right? So maybe it's not the best idea.
Not in best taste. Yep.
Maybe it's not the most tastefully done thing, right?
Yeah.
So have enough understanding, wisdom to say, okay, I receive this information that you're giving me, even if it's in a dysfunctional way that you're communicating it, and it's toxic.
Yep.
It's toxic, and it's meant to be hurtful. But I have enough emotional intelligence to rise above this and not take it personal. That's one of the 4 agreements, not to take anything personal. I won't take this personal. I'll learn from it, and I'll be a better person from it. So I think that's how you deal with hate.